We Tortolans love the story of Lo, a young Tortolan who traveled the world. Often enough, Lo's travels were fraught with dangers. Take this story, for example. A young Tortolan who loved the story of Lo. We Tortolans love the story of Lo.
Hey guys, Evo here. So Battle for Azeroth has been out for about 2 to 3 weeks now, and I think I finally have my thoughts together on the expansion. There's been a lot of really good stuff that I've absolutely loved, as well as some not so great stuff that has really dragged the experience down for me. So let's go ahead and jump right into this and take a look at some of the positives. I'll go ahead and start with the obvious. The world. The continents of Zandalar and Kul Tiras are easily the most beautiful zones that Blizzard has ever put into World of Warcraft. Each zone feels unique and different, and they are oozing with personality. Just being in these zones is a fantastic experience, so once again, the art team delivers. And the wonderful music brings the world to life even more. The soundtrack of this expansion has blown me away in a way that no other expansion ever has. Every single track works. This is the first time in an expansion where 2 to 3 weeks in, I still have my in-game music turned on. I mean, sure, I could listen to Rush or Pink Floyd or Bon Jovi, but why would I listen to that garbage when I could listen to this? So beautiful. But in all seriousness, the world and the music are fantastic. But what about the content? Well, dungeons don't disappoint. The dungeons this time around are incredible outside of the Motherlode. I really enjoy almost all the dungeons that came with launch, and they have really interesting mechanics, and of course, as always, the art department has done a fantastic job making them look really good. I mean, we got Luigi's Mansion, the dungeon. So, I'm happy. In all seriousness, each dungeon has a different feel and a different theme, and it keeps the dungeons feeling fresh with so much variety within them. I'm massively impressed with the dungeons this expansion, and I can't wait to do them all on Mythic Plus. On top of all that, islands are also pretty fun under the right conditions. At current gear levels, doing Mythic and PvP island expeditions is surprisingly fun and challenging. While they aren't very hard to do, they require some level of communication. If you don't communicate, you're gonna lose. Islands are also really innovative, and I can't wait to see what Blizzard does with the technology that they've developed for island expeditions. The advanced AI and the randomly generated content have so much potential, and islands could turn into something really, really great a little later down the line. It also helps that the gearing aspect of the game has improved a lot this expansion. I have my gripes with some of the gearing in this expansion, but they're undeniably positives as well. Azeroth armor isn't something I'm in love with, but what I do love is the fact that it doesn't Warforge or Titanforge. It makes getting these pieces feel more rewarding, and the fact that I'm actually hunting specific Azerite pieces because I know what traits are on them and because I know how good they're going to be for my class is a really, really good feeling. I guess I'm just happy to have true best in slot items back again. Oh yeah, and we have weapons again. I cannot express just how happy I am that we have weapon drops back. I have really missed them. And surprisingly, one of my favorite features to come out of this expansion has been War Mode. I initially was only excited for War Mode so that I could turn World PvP off, because I'm on a PvP server and I'd always been annoyed by World PvP instead of really having a good time with it. But after turning it on and giving it an actual shot, I've had a ton of fun with it, and I rarely turn it off now. The type of player-driven content that War Mode provides is something that I have just fallen in love with over the course of this expansion. If you haven't given War Mode a fair shot, I highly recommend you at least give it a try. I promise you it will be a lot of fun. Until you get ganked by rogues. And how could I talk about BFA without bringing up allied races? Even though they've been available in-game for a while, allied races are technically a part of BFA, and I for one love the allied race system. In fact, my first video on this channel was about how much I liked allied races. But I don't recommend you watch it. It's pretty bad. Yeah, don't watch it. Anyway, I personally love the Dark Iron Dwarves. I mean, you get a Firebeard. A Firebeard, you can't beat that. A freaking Firebeard. Perhaps one of my favorite parts of this expansion is the story. Not the leveling story, but the endgame story. I've only done the Alliance side of things, but wow. The Jaina story is absolutely fantastic. The story is well told and well voice acted, and there are tons of cinematics to go with it. The story even had some really heartfelt moments. Stories like this that focus on a specific character and work to flesh them out as a character is something that has been sorely missing from World of Warcraft, and I hope we get to see a lot more stories like this in the future. Also, the war campaign has been a pretty good amount of fun. It's not nearly as strong as, say, the Jaina narrative, but I've had a good time doing it. Professions have been made far more enjoyable this time around. It's true that they do feel like an afterthought, but it is so great that all the annoying and frustrating RNG that was involved with it in Legion is gone. But it's really sad to see the character of Nomi just disappear. As WoW's storytelling continues to improve, it's just a shame that we won't get an in-depth look at the character of Nomi. Did he ever figure out how to stop burning food? I just hope he's okay. I will always miss him. I'm just kidding. It's great that Nomi and all his stupid RNG is gone. You no longer get ranks for recipes from RNG procs, but instead from more deterministic sources. Even though there isn't that much to professions, and admittedly they aren't very interesting and really simple, they only have very basic functions, but in all honesty, I prefer that to the rampant RNG that made professions so painful to be a part of in Legion. So far, I've had a lot more fun with professions in BFA than I ever did in Legion. And the final positive of BFA so far is the communities feature. I doubt that this feature has lived up to what many players wanted it to be, and there are many ways that it could easily be improved. But either way, it's a nice feature to have. Even if it's only connected a few players, that's still a good thing in my book. Alright, the fun and happy part of this video is over now, so if you don't want to hear criticism of the game, then click off the video. Because as much as I love BFA, for all the positives, there are a lot of negatives and there are a lot of really bad things in my opinion. Keep in mind that this is first impressions, so I could be wrong about everything. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into the worst one. Class design. Okay, so if you have a class that you really love and enjoy, that's great. But looking at class design as a whole, the dumbing down and simplification of classes is undeniable. I am, or at least was, an altaholic. I capped every single class in Legion and did a good amount of Mythic Plus on all of them. In this expansion, however, I have very little motivation to level up anything other than my main because most of the classes are very basic and they feel clunky and slow to play. If you want to know more about what I think about class design in BFA, I made a different video about that a while back, but suffice it to say, it's one of the worst parts of the expansion in my opinion, and it's greatly gonna hurt my enjoyment of the expansion regardless of the content that Blizzard brings out. The world of this expansion is absolutely gorgeous, and that makes it even more frustrating that the content that populates the world is utter garbage. All we have is world quests. That is it. And world quests are not exactly engaging or fun content. They're fine as a background or side thing, but when world quests are your main and only form of world content, you have a problem. Not only are world quests not a very interesting form of content, they're even less interesting because they're just recycled quests. So many of them have just been copied and pasted from leveling quests. And on top of that, the world quests function more like dailies than world quests because some pop up every single day. I was getting repeat world quests the second day of the expansion, and I've not seen a new one in a really long time. And then, on top of all of that, Blizzard is breaking add-ons that speed up world quest content so that they take longer to complete. All of this comes together to make the world content this expansion probably the weakest it has ever been, which is a real shame, especially considering how beautiful the world is. These are my main two issues with the expansion, but there are a lot of smaller negatives, and I'm going to go through those really quickly to avoid being too depressing. Okay, let's do this. Leveling is painfully average. The pacing is all over the place and the stories feel very disconnected from the overarching story of the expansion. It's like, hey, the Horde just burned down Teldrassil and we sieged Lordaeron. I know the logical thing to do would be to go fight the Horde, but instead, I'm gonna need you to go and kill some bees. Wait, what? The quests themselves are pretty average and they all play out practically the same with the go here and click this format. Pet battles are extremely easy this time around. I've been able to one-shot every pet tamer with little to no thought or planning involved. With launch, there were huge problems with lag that still persist today, which is insane, and I hope that those get fixed soon, because they are just a pain in the ass. The AP grind is just out of place in this expansion. It's kind of just been shoehorned in here as a way to make island expeditions worth doing, and it's just an arbitrary grind to unlock Azerite traits in your Azerite armor. It just feels really bad. It's not a rewarding or fun system. And then you have island expeditions. I like island expeditions in concept, but they're going to get outgeared really quickly and just become a chore that no one wants to do. They will just become long and boring like heroic and normal are now. Professions are also extremely simple this time around. They have very little to them and they will get pretty boring pretty fast. Professions like archaeology feel like they were just utterly forgotten about. One example of this is that as of the date of recording, every single Drust artifact has the description of a Nightborn bull from Legion. No one checked this. No one even looked at this. You cannot miss this. This is so basic. It's a complete and utter afterthought. The mission table is back as well. It isn't painful or required this time around. It's just not good gameplay, and it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the expansion. It doesn't have a purpose. There's the whole personal loot change, which I won't go into depth on here, but it's horrible for organized raiders. And finally, the traits in your Azerite gear are just, for the most part, boring passives that you can't really play around. As a replacement for legendaries and tier sets, they just fail to be interesting on any level. Okay, that was a lot. But as a whole, what do I think of the expansion? Well, in all honesty, I really like it. I've had a great time with it over the past few weeks, and I expect to continue having a great time with it. Yes, there are flaws, there are many flaws, but the positives outweigh that for me. The dungeon design is the main thing that is keeping me playing, that is keeping me interested, because Mythic Plus has been my main form of content ever since Legion. I absolutely love pushing keys and doing Mythic Plus. It's so fun, and that content is going to be the best content in the game. I personally can't wait to see where the story goes, and there's just a lot that I'm excited about in this expansion. So yeah, despite all the flaws, despite all the problems that are there, I've really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to continue to enjoy it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Alright, hey guys, this is just a quick little, into the video catch-up thing, because you might notice, if you're a subscriber, that my setup has changed once again, and that is because the on-camera mic was pretty horrific with audio, so I decided to rework everything so I could start recording on my Blue Yeti, which is what I am doing now. Another side thing that I figured out is how to make this a blue screen. That's what this actually is. So none of the videos that you've seen there have actually been playing there. I've just been putting them on there. So this is my new setup. Hopefully this looks good. I'm open to changing it. If there's anything wrong with it that you guys don't like, just let me know. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is a really cool little thing, and I look forward to making more videos with it. Anyway, if you for some reason watch this little end segment and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like on the video, and I would love to hear what you guys think about BFA in the comment sections down below. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.